You address the challenge and the opportunity that comes this week against obviously a really, really good Tennessee team.
Yes, why you come to play at Auburn, playing huge SEC series, and Tennessee has earned the right to be called the best team in the country so far this year, and we're going to their place, and they've done a great job of building atmosphere there. Fans get after you, their team gets after you, but from my point of view, it's like, why, man, what in the world wouldn't you want that? You want a chance to challenge yourself every day. We pride ourselves on that. We're fixing to go play the number one team in the country at their place. Awesome.
How beneficial are guys like Brody and Case and Sonny, Brooks? You got guys that played a lot of baseball.
Yeah. How
beneficial is that going into a game like this?
I think it's huge. I think it's, just if you just took Casey and Brody, the two guys were on the Omaha team, and they've been in the biggest environment you can get in and performed and had to make plays. And I think going into a hostile environment, and not only just those two guys, but I mean we've got an older team that has been around the block. Even guys that came, Sonny and Brooks. I mean they've played a ton of baseball. They've been in good environments, and I don't think the environment is gonna affect them near as much as it would a younger team.
Tennessee gets a lot of talk for offense, but pitching is lights out. I mean, is this as many power arms as you can remember on the college staff?
Probably. I don't know about that. The Georgia team that had what was that youngin's name that went in the first round in 2019? They had about 4 or 5 guys that all threw 97, and they were really good. But this is a great staff. In fact, I made the comment to the rest of our staff that the offense is getting a lot of pub, and I think the better part of their team is their pitching staff. They're I think a full run ahead of everybody else in ERA, and it's funny, they have power arms, but you get in the back end of the bullpen, all of a sudden it turns into soft lefties, and I think that's a great combination to have. You think about on Friday night, you may face 97, 98 early in the game, and when the game's on the line, if it's close at the end, you got a lefty that's throwing 85, 86 and spotting and change ups and all that kind of good stuff. So they present an unbelievable challenge.
You get the top team in the country this week, and then right after that back here this weekend against second best team in the SEC record wise. Just I guess what's kind of the message to the team when you've got a 6-game stretch against 2 of the top teams in the country like this?
It is, but everybody you play in the SEC is really good. I don't think our guys are really approaching it much differently. I don't think we have the staff where we were, when we played Ole Miss here, they were the number one team in the country. And that's obviously since changed. Tennessee's now the number one team in the country, but it's not something that is different for our guys to walk into a really good baseball team and have to try to beat them. That's something you really do every weekend. And so, Arkansas is going to be a great challenge in 2 weeks. I don't think we're having the problem of overlooking Tennessee. For Arkansas, it's kind of one game at a time going up there, and I know that's coach speak, but that's what it is. And you're used to playing really great teams on every weekend for 10 straight weeks in the SEC, and this is no different. Tennessee's a great team. We got to go up there and compete, and try to win ball games.
Gabe, I want to ask you about Bobby Pierce. Everything he's been through the past 2 years. What do you think it means to him and his team to see him out there doing what he's doing now?
I think it's unbelievable. I'm so happy just for Bobby. Bobby has. He came in, and the first fall he was here, didn't have the greatest fall in the world, trying to adjust a little bit, and then knees got to bothering him and had to have surgery and missed the whole year for the most part. Last year, came in, missed the whole fall, couldn't get it back, and came in and met with him in January and couldn't promise him at-bats this year. I mean, he had only had, basically a full calendar year, he'd had about 20 at-bats, and all those were in preseason January, and it was just like, man, I believe in you, but I don't know what to make of you right now because of how long it's been since you've really played. Missed the last end of his junior, college, sophomore year, so it had been a long time since he had regular bats. And I said this earlier when he first started kind of coming in and getting some hits and stuff. Like, there's not anybody on this team that has put the hours in that building down there that Bobby has. He has never wavered in belief of himself and that his opportunity would come and that he was going to be ready for it. And it has paid off handsomely for him because once he's gotten a glimpse of that starting lineup, he has not wanted to let it loose.
Are you amazed how fast he is going around the bases, considering what he's been through? I mean, he's pretty quick.
It's really, really good. And I know the knees still bother him a little bit from time to time, but it's one of those deals. It's like, now's the time. Yeah, now's the time. And he can really, really run. And that doesn't go away in the outfield either. Putting him beside Kaysen right and center, there's not a lot of balls that fall that he goes and gets them. Kaysen obviously is, to me, I feel like he's the best defensive center fielder in the country. He obviously the play he made the other day, but when you put those two beside each other, they run a lot of balls down.
Is he your best outfield arm also?
Bobby, yeah, I think him and Bryson would have a pretty good little competition on that, but he's got a really good arm. Really good arm. And he gets the ball really well, something that we work on a ton. When a ball's hit, we don't try to match our feet up and slow down and get the perfect little hop, all that kind of stuff. We fly to the ball, and he does that as well as anybody. He cuts distance down. The Mississippi State game threw a guy to third base that I don't think anybody realized how hard he was coming to get the ball, and was able to make that play. Does a really good job.
When your team is going up against a staff that limits runs as well as Tennessee does, but is backed up by such a great dynamic offense, how do you coach your guys to stay in their game and not press and try to push for as much offense as possible and swing for home runs?
Well, that's a great question, and to me that starts with the approach we've had all year long, and that's not something that we concentrate on. Last year we led the league in slugging percentage, and we didn't concentrate on hitting home runs and slugging percentage. That was what that team did a little bit better. This team's not that team, and we haven't really changed the approach, but it's never been about trying to hit the ball out of the ballpark. It's always about trying to get a good pitch to hit and put a good swing on it in the middle of the field, and kind of let what happens happen. But I would say as well that the recipe for winning baseball games, to me, hasn't changed in 130 years, whether you're playing Tennessee or whoever, and that is to pitch and make the routine play and then get timely hitting. And if you're going to screw those three up, you're probably not going to win many games. And so that's the recipe going in. We got to pitch well. I think teams have shown Tennessee's a great offense, but they're like any other offense, and for the most part, if you make good pitches, you can get guys out. If you make bad pitches, they're really good at killing you. So we got to go in and make pitches. We got to make the routine play, and when it comes down to getting a big hit in the moment, we got to be able to get it. And that's, like I said, I feel like that's been a recipe for baseball wins since it started.